In today's video, I attempt to complete Grounded using only a canteen as my weapon. My goals are to collect all the BURG.L chips and defeat the Broodmother. Will I be able to complete the challenge? As I mentioned, only 5% of you are subscribed, so make sure you subscribe because it's free and it stops you from missing any future videos. Also, follow me on Twitch if you want to see these challenges completed live. The first thing to note is that the game is a custom game. This is so that I could change two settings. The first is that I made it so that the menus pause the game, as this was something that I was used to from previous updates. I also turned faction reactivity off, as I didn't feel like having my base raided. As always, we are on mild difficulty again, just so the challenge doesn't take forever, but it still did take me 16 hours to complete this one. I start by grabbing some basic resources, including food, and then I scan plant fiber, sap, and a pebblet, and begin to craft. I make a pebblet axe, which I need in order to progress to get the canteen. Next, I make a pebblet hammer, as this allows me to break acorns. After analysing an acorn shell, I was now able to craft the acorn shovel. Now that I had the acorn shovel, I could dig up some grubs to get the hide I needed for the canteen. I managed to dig up 3 lava in a row. But on my 4th try, I eventually dug up the grub I was looking for. I dug up another and then scanned their grub hide. This allowed me to craft the canteen. We now had our weapon. I decided to try the canteen out against an ant, only to realise it was really slow and weak. This was going to be hard.
That's what she said!
So, I began my first upgrade process, which was to try and obtain the Weevil Shield and Acorn Armor. The Weevil Shield actually had 2 uses here, to block incoming attacks and to increase my attack speed. The Acorn Armor was for early game protection. I set up a crafting table near the juice box and crafted some acorn leggings. Next, I decided to scan some more items to unlock the lean-to and the Weevil Shield recipes. I then crafted the acorn chestplate and Weevil Shield before building my lean-to. Next, I headed to the mite laser to kill all of the mites. I did this to progress the story and because I needed the mite fuzz for the acorn helmet. I then chopped down the grass and activated the mysterious machine Unlockingburgle. Before heading back to base, I decided to head to the red ant nest to grab our first BURG.L chip of the playthrough. With BURG.L's lab unlocked, I headed inside and helped him up before skipping through a 100-page essay worth of dialogue. I then activated the ASL and unlocked the smithing station. Then, I headed to my workbench to complete the full set of acorn armor. On my way to the hedge, I picked up the coup de grace mutation. This was the only mutation in the game that was going to help us increase our attack power with the canteen. While employing the web sack strategy, I almost took a flight to my death. But luckily, I landed on the very edge of a branch. I used the web sack strategy as I needed stinkbug parts, bombardier parts, and a ladybug head in order to craft tier 2 tools later on. Hedge lab time. I collect all 4 pieces of the password and then grab the silk from the storage room. I use the bioscanner and input the password, allowing me to collect the hedge super chip and turn on the scanners around the map. Before leaving the hedge, I grab the Broodmother BLT recipe for later on. On the way home, I decided to take on a bombardier. After a long, hard-fought battle, I just barely came out on top and got our first boiling gland for the tier 2 hammer. I gave BURG.L both of the chips we found and then unlocked the fiber bandage efficiency, armor plates, and buff lungs. I then crafted a tier 2 axe and tier 2 hammer. I quickly put the tier 2 hammer to use by grabbing some milk molars to increase my max active mutations to 3. I then collected some clay and gnat fuzz due to the removal of the rotten gas mask. I made a spinning wheel and crafted a pebblet dagger and gill tube as I wanted to tackle the pond next. I grabbed the rotten fin flops to increase my swim speed and then unlocked the Merteen mutation for more time underwater. I then collected some sunken bones before heading to the bioscanner and opening the lab entrance. I looted the storage room as I needed a lot of the goodies in here and then pulled the lever to activate the breakers. I killed the Arcar and then proceeded to turn the breakers on one by one, being careful not to drown. I had now unlocked the pond lab. I headed inside and interacted with the computer, opening up the lab. I then was able to deal with all 3 of the Tase Ts and the Arcar before heading further into the lab. I killed the final 2 tasties and then grabbed the pond super chip and opened up the dome. Next, I had to break the rules to kill a diving bell spider, as you cannot attack with the canteen underwater. So I used the shovel to kill one. I needed to do this as I needed the chunk to craft the bone dagger in order to get one of the BURG.L chips later on. Then, I headed to the underwater cave and grabbed the mossy key before using it to obtain the sunken outpost chip. I crafted myself the bone dagger and then headed back to BURG.L, giving him both of the new chips we had discovered. My next adventure took me to the Ice Cap's mint box to collect some mint shards. I got these as they are good food source and I wanted to unlock tier 3 of fresh defense to help me collect the charcoal later in the game. I headed to the exposed pipe and used the bone dagger to obtain the Minotaur maze key. After using it, I trashed it since I had to break the rules in order to get it. Next, I went back to the hedge to get another stink bug part in order to craft the gas mask. I also increased my max active mutations to 4. Then I headed to the haze to grab a bunch of fungal growth before heading to the red anthill. My plan was to steal all of their babies so that I could make some bombs. This went really well and I was able to craft 7 brat bursts. With my newly acquired bombs, I decided to unlock the upper yard. I headed to the steps to kill some black ants. This took a long time, roughly 5 minutes per ant, but eventually I had enough black ant parts. I then headed to the old anthill to kill a bunch of red ants for red ant parts. This allowed me to finish crafting the grinder. Then, at the perfect time, a red ant decided to snoop through my chests, so I punished him and used his parts to make the black ant shield. With ants searching my chests, I decided to research the grass planks and weed stems so that I could build a wall around the base. I used weeds due to their strength and because there were a lot of them near my base. Then, since I decided I wanted to go with ladybug armor, I went and killed a ladybug. Next, I made another chest and decided to try out the eye patch, as it also increases damage dealt by the player. With my eye patch equipped, I killed another ladybug and then headed home only to find an ant in my base. This is a rare bug in the game currently. I made the ladybug shin guards and then made a smithing station. I went and collected a bunch of sap to make the grub leather plates and upgrade my new shin guards. Next, I made my way back to the hedge to collect some berries, as I needed more berry leather for the ladybug armor. I also killed another ladybug on the way home. This allowed me to make the ladybug chestplate, which I also upgraded. My next task was to collect more grubs so that I could craft more grub leather plates. I built a campfire to cook my grubs on and upgraded my eye patch and chestplate. I also gathered enough milk molars to have 5 active mutations at a time. My next job was to grab some charcoal for the oven later on. I died doing this, but was easily able to retrieve my stuff. I barely survived my first termite fight, and even though I did, it forced me to go kill some black ants to repair my shield. This shield costs 5 black ant parts to craft, and 4 to repair, by the way, for some reason. 4! With my shield repaired, I headed back and tried killing a termite soldier. I was rudely interrupted during the fight by a ladybird larva, but he actually helped me for once. I let them fight each other and then collected the parts from the dead termite. I also killed the ladybird larva as I needed more bug loop for the axe. I then got a ladybird larva to kill another termite before also killing him. With my shield once again on the edge of breaking, I headed back and collected another 4 black ant parts. Did I mention these ants only drop 1 to 2 parts, so on average I have to kill 3 ants just to repair my shield. I only needed 1 more bug loop, so I killed another ladybird larva but was unlucky. Thus, I decided to go into the termite nest to kill another termite. I managed to knock him back enough with perfect blocks that he fell out of the den, which helped massively. Then, when I looted his body, I finally got the 4th and final bug loop I needed. I made a crafting table and finally crafted the termite axe. With my tier 3 axe equipped, I headed through the termite nest and grabbed the wood-pile BURG.L chip. Next, I headed into the ravine and farmed some pupa leather before heading home. I decided to retire the black ant shield as it was too expensive to repair, and went back to the Weevil shield. The black ant shield was only to be used in boss fights from now on. I gave BURG.L the chip and pumped some more milk molars into my veins. I upgraded my chestplate and then farmed a bunch of weed stems. These are useful as you can grind them into 8 plant fiber each, which I need a lot of for crude rope to upgrade my armor. I then crafted the charcoal canteen, but after testing it on a grub, I found out that all of the canteens do the same damage, so I stuck with the normal canteen as the charcoal one has durability. I upgraded my shin guards and then decided to kill another ladybug. I had come to the conclusion that a full set of ladybug armor was going to be better than having the eye patch due to the set bonus. I proceeded to fully upgrade my armor a bunch more and also upgraded my axe for extra durability. On my way to the picnic table, I killed a bombardier beetle for another boiling gland. I bombed the shovel and then headed up to the maze. I used my tier 3 axe to get the second phase of the coup de grace mutation, which made me a little more powerful, and I grabbed the picnic BURG.L chip. On my way home, I killed 2 more bombardiers, getting only 1 boiling gland. I then gave BURG.L the chip and upgraded my armor even more. I then used a similar strategy to earlier by using the sickly roly-poly to help me kill black ants. I headed to the Haze lab and bombed the door. I used the bioscanner to get in and then quickly killed the Taze Tees. I then ran through the explosive death trap and pulled the lever, unlocking the lab. Then it was time to kill. Luckily, the infected ladybug was stuck, meaning it was much easier for me to kill all of the infected larvae and mites. This still took me around half an hour though. As I had almost killed all of the enemies, the ladybug got free, but I took my time and finished off the rest of the mites before finally killing the ladybug. I opened the final door and then grabbed the Haze super chip along with the brat bursts and granola bars. I gave BURG.L the chip and then unlocked the oven for 2500 raw science. I also unlocked the hedge cookbook as this food increases crit hit chance and I need all of the damage I can get. I upgraded all 3 pieces of my armor down the sleek route in order to maximize the healing I would receive, which would help me massively later on. I made a smoothie station and then went and killed more bombardiers so that I had enough boiling glands to make the oven. I baked myself a Broodmother BLT and also made a bunch of smoothies to heal with during the boss fights later on. I killed a bunch more black ants so that I could get the black ant shovel. I needed this to collect gum nuggets, which can be used to double the duration of smoothies. I used the black ant lab skip to get in without needing a bomb, and then grabbed the omelette and smoothies. I made light work of the 3 Taze Tees, then opened the door and killed another. I activated the computer and then dealt with another 3 Taze Tees before activating the other computer. With the whole lab unlocked, I opened the boss fight room and bombed it. I went inside and used one of each of my smoothies to make sure I was as strong as possible. After around 20 minutes of fighting, I was finally able to kill the assistant manager without using many heals at all. This fight is quite easy, it just requires a lot of patience. I gathered the Black Anthill super chip and then headed to the sandbox to grab the final BURG.L chip. With all the chips collected, I just had to beat the Broodmother. I gave BURG.L the final 2 chips and then applied a final upgrade to my armor, taking it all to level 7. I then took out my first wolf spider to get tier 1 of Mithridatism. I would need this for the Broodmother boss fight. Next, I took out another wolf spider, as I decided that I would need a minimum of tier 2 for Mithridatism for the final boss fight. While killing my 3rd wolf spider, I was found by yet another wolf spider, meaning I was fighting 2 at once. I was able to take out the first one and was close to killing the second one when an orb weaver showed up to ruin the party. My shield broke and I had to leave, and as I was leaving, there was another wolf spider stuck in the entrance of the cave. Once I'd repaired my shield, I went to take out another wolf spider near the hedge. Then I made my way to the rocks to kill the 5th and final wolf spider I would need for tier 2 of Mithridatism. Unfortunately, the game bugged and didn't give it to me, so I had to go and kill a 6th wolf spider, which finally gave me tier 2 of Mithridatism. With everything I needed, I headed to the boss fight. I started it and then opened my inventory to show my mutations. Parimaster, Buff Lungs, Coup de Grace, Cardio Fan, and Mithridatism. I also showed all of the smoothies I used. Unfortunately, I forgot to bring a spider slider with me, which would have increased my crit chance, meaning I did do a little bit less damage than I could have in this boss fight. After 30 minutes of fighting, I eventually defeated the Broodmother, meaning I had completed the challenge. It's not a him. We did it! Na 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 na. Woo! Let's go! Woo! This was by far the hardest challenge that I have completed in this game. If you enjoyed the video, I would really appreciate if you leave a like, leave any challenge ideas you have below, and have an awesome rest of your day.